It's an AT&T 5G call to the field, out to the nation's capital. We chatted with him before the game started, right when he was hired, I think in a hotel room somewhere in Europe. It's Hernán Losada, the manager of DC United. Hernán, welcome back to the show, man.
Thank you, guys. Happy to see you back again.
Happy to see DC playing the way that they're playing, and we'll get to the start and some of that side of things first. But I want to ask you about a moment after this game against the Montreal, Club de Foot Montreal, I almost did it again, where it was you, it was Paul Arriola, it was Kevin Paredes, and it was Andy Najar, sort of in a group hug moment after this win. Tell me about that moment. What did that mean? What was going on? What was the emotion that was coursing through you guys?
No, I think you just choose one moment of me hugging with three players, but we hug all the time with the whole group. I don't have any preference, and I really like the personal contact with the players to make them feel home, to make them feel like I'm not the boss. I'm their coach, and I want them to perform, and I get paid to make them better. So all those hugs after the game are moments of joy and moments of happiness of me as a coach, seeing my team and my players doing what we train and doing what we plan before the game.
Well, Hernán, you touched on making players better. I had the opportunity to play with Andy Najar at DC United in 2011. Attacking player. He goes to Belgium, scores in Champions League, really a phenomenal player, young player. Now comes back to MLS and has struggled, finds himself at DC United with you, and now he's flourishing as a right center back. How did you bring him along? How did you get him to perform at such a high level and now be one of the bigger players for your club?
It was a big progress with him. He didn't play almost no full game for the last 3 years, and during preseason we didn't allow him to play any friendly game. We were just focused on his fitness and tried to make him stronger, especially on those weak spots where he got hurt so much the last couple of years. And I think him playing as a center back was also kind of part of the plan, because playing as a wing back or playing as a winger, you have to do a lot of more high-speed distance and sprints. And as a part of his build-up and his fitness, we thought that it was going to be the perfect fit for him and for our system to start as a center-back, as an offensive center-back, and from there on, try to choose the right moments to play him higher on the field if the team need it. But that's something that I've been doing in my period in Belgium. I always play with a back three, but one of the center backs used to be a fullback, an offensive fullback, and then you create overlaps from a lower position, and that makes it very hard for the opponent to defend, because the defender starts very low. Nobody follows him, and when you have a player with the abilities of Andy on the build-up to break that first line of pressure, well, many people maybe who knew Andy from before were thinking this is a little bit crazy to play that guy as a center back. But actually, when we have the ball, it's more an offensive fullback, right, and it's not anymore a center back. So we try to keep a balance in the team, and was kind of the plan in his fitness to start with him as a center back.
So it's Andy Cannavaro now, is it?
you can tell. No, Andy can do everything. You know, you put him on the left wing back against Columbus Crew, and he performs. You play him on the right wing back, he performs. He can play on the winger, he performs. He even can play as a defensive midfield player, and he's capable of playing in many positions. And those players who are able but also open to perform in different spots, those are the players that any coach needs to create a good synergy and a good balance in the team.
So a lot of what we heard coming out of DC early on in preseason and then early on in the season, and you've already used the word multiple times, fitness and building this team up. And we knew that would be a focus for you. We've seen other coaches come into this league, maybe from similar backgrounds to yours, that have also kind of focused on that, and it's been successful and unsuccessful. But there was a lot of injuries early. It didn't look like the team could play the way you wanted them to play. You talked about that as well. What was the first 4 or 5 months of this experience like, and how did you get here to where we are at now?
Unbelievable experience. As a young coach, full of energy like me, you start and you want everything after a few weeks, and that was something that I needed to understand. That I was arriving to a new culture, a new club, a new mentality, a new league, where different aspects plays a big role, like the weather, the traveling, and I also needed to realize that this team, and not only this team, the whole competition came from a very tough year last season, where there were many breaks. Off season was longer than ever, and for some players was the beginning was tough. But you need to start somewhere, and we did a lot of changes, and little by little we start to find that balance between pushing too hard, being fit, nutrition, a mental coach, and at a certain point everything came together and we started to get results. But I knew it was a matter of time, even though now we still are missing important pieces and important players. But we tried to give the attention to all the players because we knew that we were going to need them all from number 1 until number 28, 29. I think we are the only team in the league who has 26 different starters in the league. We use in total 28 players until now. And for me are all important. And knowing that it will be a tough season, we put also a lot of attention in all the guys. And the moment they get the minutes, they are ready to go.
You mentioned the schedule, the difficult 2020 that we all had. I mean, it's not just MLS, obviously, and the weather, and there's all these things. And sometimes it feels stereotypical when we talk about coaches or players coming to the league. Oh, they have to figure out X, Y, Z. Like, they're not going to know what this weather like, or to travel across country. What are your impressions of MLS after 6 months? From a competitive standpoint, a tactical standpoint, the players, what stands out to you? If you called your buddy back home and he's coaching too, and you're like, oh, let me tell you all about MLS, man, what would you say?
Very hard competition, a lot of technical players. Every club and every team has a very clear game plan with a different style. You have a defensive coach, you have a very possession-minded coach, you have a transition coach, a counter-attack coach like the one in Philadelphia. You have many different styles, and every team has, especially in the offensive part, very good players. And when you see the latest transfers that have been in this summer window, I see teams buying players for 7, 8, 6, 5 millions. Even Atlanta now bought a player who was a starter in Lille. Lille is the last champion of Ligue 1 in France competition. Well, Austin buys an Argentinian player from Zenit St. Petersburg. We are talking about players coming to MLS from already big teams. And all the best Brazilians from the Brazilian competition are coming here, and all the best Argentinian players are coming here. And automatically the level of the league goes up. So pretty impressed. But also I knew this could happen. I think the league is also getting ready for the next World Cup. I mean, not in Qatar, but when it's organized here with Canada and Mexico, I think for that time, this league is going to be amazing. You see also every year 2-3 new stadiums open up. Clubs investing in new infrastructure, and that also makes possible that academy players start to come up. They start to invest in the young guys, and when you put all together, well, you have a competitive league, and MLS is growing and will keep on growing.
Hernan, I'm interested in the academy. DC United have always produced talented players, but when they hit the professional level, some haven't really paid off, although Andy Najar was one that really had a fantastic transition. You have Moses Nyeman and you have Kevin Paredes, and they both look like they're flourishing under you. Where do you see their potential? Where do they need to improve, and how do you see them continuing to grow within your team right now?
I'm very pleased to have those two guys in my team. I have to say I have a great contact with them. We talk on a daily basis. We show them clips. And I think what every young guy with talent like Moses and Kevin needs is minutes and games and confidence. And I know, and we know they're gonna make mistakes, but that's the price you need to pay if you want them to see developing and if you want to see them growing and being part of this organization. And for me, are both key players. I love the way they train. I love their freshness and the energy they bring in the team. And I don't know what's the limits for them. Right now, I hope we can enjoy them for a couple of more years, because I do believe they have potential to play in a very big competition in Europe.
Oh, wow. I want to see that too. So
yeah, give us the Paredes scouting report here on your side, because it's so fun to watch him. He's that sort of attacking player that just lulls defenders into tackles, and then either he's getting crushed or he's running by you while you sit on the ground and watch him. He's explosive. Those first two steps are just, he flies.
Yeah, both of them. Kevin playing as a wingback, and the last couple of games playing more as a winger to have him a little bit closer to the opponent's goal. Moses on the midfield is great with the ball. He's still learning a lot off the ball tactically, when to press forward, when to drop, and form a good defensive block, when to play forwards, when to keep the ball in the team. But both are explosive types, and those are the type of players that a coach who wants to play the way I want to play needs in your team. You need those mobile, explosive, full of energy guys who are able to press forwards, but also to have the energy that you need to play in transition and to play vertical the way we want.
Are there any other academy players that have impressed you that have not yet gotten the opportunity, but you could see down the line, them breaking through?
Yao is also training with us, has a lot of potential. The only thing is that right now his best position or his best spot is on the right wing or right wing back. And right now we have with Julian Gressel a player who is performing in a great way. We have Jeremy Garay playing on the midfield with Loudoun United. We have Giovanni Bolivar. He didn't come from our academy, but he's also a young talent from Venezuela who is training with us, and he's also making steps forwards. I try to watch all Loudoun games. Most of the academy players are playing right now there, and I don't see on short term maybe coming, but on long term there are a few guys that we are following up, and maybe they will join us during the next preseason.
The youth gets go ahead.
No, moving from the youth a little bit, but you mentioned with Yao his best position, and you look at this team, it feels like a lot of guys are naturally want to play in the same spot, because you could say the same about Paul Areola out wide right, or Yamil Assad and other pieces that kind of want to play the same role. You've had to rotate through guys, but when you look at an ideal roster and how you want it to be set up, do you want to constantly be able to rotate guys, or do you want to be able to solidify on a 12 or 13? Or am I asking a ridiculous question because you've been so far from this?
It's a very good question. No, I mean, my ideal plan, and I think the ideal plan of every coach, is to try to keep at least the base. And if you make a rotation, you're making 1, in 2, in 3 spots. Unfortunately, we were pushed to make every single game 4, 5, 6 changes sometimes, and that's why I'm so pleased with the energy. No matter who's playing, the energy is the same, the tactics are the same, and everyone is really into that style of play. But when you see New England, it's the very same starting 11 week in, week out. Now they are missing Carlos Hill, but you see 1 change, 2 changes. On the West Coast, the same. The teams who are on top of the rankings, they don't change too much unless you have those stretch of games and games in the road. Then maybe you need to choose here and there and make more changes. But the ideal scenario is to have a solid base of 7, 8, 9 starters, and once in a while change 2, 3 positions.
Thank you, Hernan, by the way, for saying to Julian Gressel, unleash the right foot. Because his service, his ability to put the ball in dangerous positions is incredible. He's had a career resurgence. Ola Kamara has had an incredible season so far, one of the most efficient goal-scoring seasons we've ever seen so far. And then you're still waiting for Edison Flores to come back. These are sort of the veterans, including Paul Areola, who's come back from injury recently, that you were building around. What's up with Flores right now, and how have you seen the other three guys?
Well, Eddie took a little bit longer than expected. He's already a little bit more than 3 months. Was a big muscle injury in a delicate spot in his hamstring. We hope to get him back now for Nashville and New England. He will be part of the roster. So that's good news. Paul has been with a couple of injuries and also the Gold Cup, but he's totally fit. Donovan Pines, Bill Amit, Russell Canaus, Brendan Heinzike, Adrian Perez. Well, those guys will be a little bit longer.
Wow,
but
man.
as you see, those are important players. We are missing right now, and still we are getting good results. So once again, I'm very happy that from day one I put my attention in the whole roster and not only in those guys that we are missing right now.
How good can Flores be for you? Like what can he be in your team? Because we haven't seen him hit yet in Major League Soccer.
I think it was very unfortunately the timing of his injury. He was really becoming that fit and decisive player we all knew he could be. At the moment he got hurt, and now, well, it's a matter of building up his fitness again to give him limited minutes and be precautious. I still believe he can play an important role for us. He's one of the 2 DPs we have in our roster together with Paul Arriola. You always expect something extra and something more from a DP. So let's hope Eddie can be decisive in our game. And the last sprint of the regular season will be very important. So we count on him.
Hernan, Ola Kamara, he couldn't score more than a goal or 2 last couple of seasons, and it was almost like he was a wasted player because he wasn't provided service. Not typically a striker who's going to break you down on the dribble. This year, you're providing him service, and he's banging the goals in. You just added Ramon Abila. Can you talk to me about how you see Ramon? Kind of maybe is it kind of a substitution type player? Is it a player just to give Ola a break here and there? And then what has Ola done so well for you?
Well, first of all, Ola have been working very hard during the off season. He knew that not only him but the whole roster needed to do better. And when you feel physically sharp and fit to make the efforts off the ball, but you also have the energy to finish your chances and scoring opportunities like Ola is doing, then you have a good season. And I think he fits in our style of play. We like to play very vertical the moment we recover the ball, and Ola is a scorer and has also a very good connection with Julian, with Kevin, with Paul. The whole crew and the whole team knows what to do in the different phases of the game. And Ola is a smart player. He has experience, and I knew that when he was able to play 90 minutes and feel sharp and ready, he will start to perform. So I'm very happy with Ola. And with Avila, well, it's still not official, right? But he will be joining us as part of the roster. I think the number 9 position is a key position. And when you have, like now, Nashville on Sunday, New England on Wednesday, you need 2 number 9s to rotate and to keep them both fit. If Ola is going to play every single game, at the end of the week, he will end up being hurt, especially the way we play. So he's coming to give us a little bit more of depth, and whenever we need him at the end of a game or to start a couple of games, hopefully he's ready.
Nashville, DC, Sunday, MLS Live on ESPN Plus, 7 p.m. Eastern. Hernán Losada in DC above the playoff line right now, playing really, really well. Hernán, I'll talk to Sam in PR. You can send me a meal plan here. I need to drop a couple pounds on my end, but we'll figure that out off camera. All right, man. Really happy to talk to you, and happy to see DC having some good times right now.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys. No, about nutrition, we have a nutritionist. It's not me doing that, but I believe that the fuel that you pump into your body is key. It's key not only to feel yourself fresh and fit, it's also key to avoid injuries. And in this club, they're having a lot of injuries, and I think kind of prevention, it's to have a good nutrition, and that combined with resting, which is also very important, and good training sessions. Well, you see the results right now, and the guys are very happy and are willing to make that click and that change. And for some of them was easier than for another ones. But when you start seeing the results and you start to feel yourself in good shape, then you wanted to do it, So I'm happy that the players bought into that new lifestyle. Let's call it that way. But on the other hand, when you see the Instagram pages of Sergio Ramos, Karim Benzema, Dybala, Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and all the top players, you want to perform that way, and then you need to take care. And they take care during off-season, they take care during pre-season, they take care during the season, and they are prof 24/7. And if we want to strive for perfection and go always for more, you need to make an effort. And nutritionist is one of those efforts we are willing to do.
That's what I tell myself.
That's the accountability I need in my life.
Every January 1st, but then January 2nd, the taco place
God, how do we need some resources from DC United. We need to have like a fitness regimen for Extra Time. But we really appreciate your time, Hernán. Happy, healthy, fit in DC and above the playoff lines. Congratulations on your success so far.
Thank you, guys.
Did you enjoy that? Was that right up your alley? Well, go subscribe to Extra Time wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also check the full shows on the MLS YouTube channel right over here, and you could subscribe to the MLS channel right here. Thanks for listening and watching, everybody.